Discover how one dedicated employee changed a child's life in just 10 incredible minutes. Jamie Walker pushed her mop across the gleaming floor of Maplewood Elementary, her heart tied to her work, to her kids, and to the hope that their lives could someday be better. Every swipe felt like another brush against a dream, a kitchen with a view, a car that didn't stall, a little bit of comfort somewhere between the bills. Just a few minutes past 4 o'clock on that particular autumn day, she noticed something unusual. A small figure hunched in the corner of the playground. It was Ethan, a boy from her son Cody's class. Lost in thought, his faded jacket hung awkwardly above a pair of shoes that looked much too big for him. Jamie felt her heart flutter, recognition rushing through her like a cool breeze. She could see the hurt lurking in his dark eyes. She could see it clearly, as if it were her own reflection from years gone by. Instead of cleaning up the scattered leaves on the playground, she decided to kneel down next to him, close enough to hear the weight of his silence. "Hey there," she started softly. "What has got you feeling so down?" Ethan's eyes flickered to meet hers, revealing a hint of a smile buried under layers of pain and embarrassment. Jamie could sense the pain under the surface, the loneliness of not fitting in, the echoes of taunts that no child should have to endure. For 10 minutes, she shared words of encouragement, silly stories, dreams of becoming a superhero, and reminders that everyone faces storms. As she talked, she caught a glimpse of hope sparkling in Ethan's eyes, something she desperately wanted to engrave in her own heart too. Before we continue, I need to let you know about something important that's happening. YouTube has been making changes to the system, and many people are losing notifications from channels they follow. If you're enjoying the content, hit that bell and mark all notifications so you don't miss the next videos. And if you can drop a like, it really helps me with reach. Seriously, it makes a difference. Oh, let me know in the comments where you're watching from. I'm always curious to know who's on the other side of the screen. Now let's continue. Little did Jamie know that their brief connection would ripple out into Maplewood. That very hope sparked unexpected friendships for Ethan, turning his timid demeanor into a gentle glow. Children greeted him. Laughter replaced whispers of derision. Yet, as Jamie began to forge a bond with this sweet boy, an unsettling truth emerged: Ethan's family was struggling. His mother bore the weight of judgment in silence, shackled by hardship and stigma. Jamie's heart broke at the thought. A part of her wanted to shout from the rooftops, to stand beside Ethan's mother, to fight against the cold glares that shadowed her life. But another voice echoed louder, anxiety wrapping around her like a heavy cloak. How could she protect her own children from the shame of association? Conflicted, Jamie faced an emotional storm within her. She questioned whether simply holding out a hand was enough to accept the sacrifice that compassion demanded. Each whisper in the school hallways tightened the knot in her stomach. How far would her kindness go before it cost her dearly? Would she step into a larger world, where standing up meant standing out? As she gazed out at the playground, a swirl of leaves danced on the wind, and with it, uncertainty hovered, teetering on the edge between courage and fear. Would she have the strength to follow this heartfelt connection toward change? The following weeks felt like a whirlwind for Jamie. Each morning, she arrived early, pushing through the doors of Maplewood with the hope that change was blossoming. Ethan's laughter rang through the halls, lifting Jamie's spirits. She watched as he grew bolder, joining groups at recess, a hesitant smile always hovering at the corners of his lips. Yet, with each joyous leap forward, Jamie's heart secreted an unsettling cocktail of worry and fear. She couldn't shake the feeling that kindness poured out like water from a broken dam would come at a cost. Adjustments at home had ripples, too. Cody, ever observant, began asking questions. "Why do you spend so much time with Ethan, Mom?" There was curiosity in his voice, an innocent probe. Jamie's heart sank as she contemplated how to answer. She wanted to share inspiration, but she also worried about the conversations her son might overhear that were too grown up for him. "I just want to help him feel happy, sweetheart." "Is he sad all the time?" Cody's small face creased with concern. "Sometimes," Jamie replied, ruffling his hair. "But we can be the light in others' lives." Cody seemed to understand, even if the nuances escaped him. That evening, Jamie lay awake, feeling the suffocating weight of the world's expectations on her chest. She thought about Ethan's mother, struggling alone and battling invisible demons that gnawed at her peace. Could she, too, try to extend her hand to help a family in need, or was she risking too much by stepping into their lives? Jamie's heart raced as she considered a plan. What if she could organize a community gathering? Not just to support Ethan, but to uplift other families in their neighborhood, creating a space where they could share not just their struggles, but also their triumphs. She envisioned a picnic at the park, filled with bright banners and laughter, emphasizing connection over judgment. Would the other parents embrace this idea, or would they recoil? The fear of rejection gripped her mind. But what if, instead of whispers of disdain, they found solidarity? The scene danced in her mind, children playing freely together, parents sharing food, stories, and laughter. With each passing day, Jamie wrestled with this hope. What if they rallied together? What if they stepped beyond their comfort zones? But doubt crawled in. What if no one came? What if a tidal wave of judgment crashed down instead? Determined, she found herself at the kitchen table one evening, the sense of dinner wafting through the air. As Cody's laughter echoed in the background, she began drafting flyers. She wrote about acceptance, unity, and the simple joy of coming together. Creating a safe space seemed the only thing that could silence the whispers both outside and within her. She folded the first flyer and slipped it under the door of Ethan's home the next morning. The fear prickled at her skin. She had opened a door that couldn't easily be shut. Would his mother welcome her? Would Ethan? The uncertainty lingered like a shadow, but hope sparked within her, surprising even herself. What would happen next? Would this dream of connection blossom into something beautiful or come crashing down? A shiver of cold urgency ran through her as she took a deep breath, ready to step into the unknown. By reaching out, could she change the narrative for Ethan's family and perhaps for her own? And as she watched leaves flutter around the playground, a question hung heavily in the air. Were they ready to embrace the beauty of their shared struggles? The morning after slipping the flyer under Ethan's door, Jamie's heart thrummed wildly. Each tick of the clock felt like the universe holding its breath. What had she done? The air in her little kitchen seemed thicker, almost buzzing with anticipation. Cody chased his cereal around the bowl, oblivious to the storm brewing inside her. She watched him, urging herself to stay calm for his sake. "Mom, can we go to the park today?" he asked, his eyes wide with excitement. The idea of spending time at the gathering place filled him with joy, an innocence she longed to protect. "Absolutely, buddy," she answered, forcing a smile that as the day wore on, Jamie couldn't shake off the whirlwind of emotions. What if Ethan's mom didn't respond? What if their invitation was met with cold silence? Her phone buzzed sharply, pulling her from her spiraling thoughts. It was a message from Ethan's mother. "Thank you for reaching out. Let us talk." A wave of relief washed over Jamie, chasing away some of her doubt. They agreed to meet in the park the next day. The thought of discussing her idea with Ethan's mother sent butterflies fluttering in her stomach. She was stepping further into Ethan's world, and it thrilled and terrified her. When they met, the sun painted golden hues on the grass. They sat at a bench under a canopy of trees, the leaves dancing lightly in the breeze. Ethan's mother, Sarah, looked weary but hopeful. "I've heard about the gathering idea. It sounds wonderful," she said, her voice trembling slightly. "Really? You think so?" Jamie asked, her heart racing. "I think it's just what we need. Community. We're all struggling in different ways." A tear glimmered in Sarah's eye, making Jamie feel the weight of that shared struggle. The two women fell into conversation, sharing their stories and fears. Jamie learned about Sarah's battles of long nights spent worrying about Ethan, of the doubts that crept in. Jamie opened up about her own challenges, the pressures of motherhood, and the desire to create a ripple of kindness. With every word exchanged, a bond formed between them, delicate, yet strong. The following days buzzed with preparation. Jamie printed additional flyers and tucked them into the mailboxes around the neighborhood, meeting parents and discussing the event in casual spaces while at the school pickup. In grocery lines, conversations blossomed effortlessly. Each interaction poured more fuel on her fire. A sense of kinship began spreading through the community, igniting participation and sharing stories. People signed up to bring food, games, and music. However, the lingering shadow of doubt still loitered in the back of her mind. What if no one came? It wasn't just the attendance. She wished for hope hanging in the air for Ethan, for Sarah, and for all the families aching for a sense of belonging. Finally, the day arrived. Jamie stood at the park, the sun reaching for the sky. Colorful banners fluttered in the breeze. Laughter echoed, children ran freely, and the scent of grilled hot dogs wafted through the air. But as time ticked on, an anxiety clutched her. Only a handful of people had shown up. Her heart sank. Maybe she was foolish to think this could work. Just when she contemplated packing up, she spotted Ethan and his mother walking toward her. With them came more families, shyly joining the group. As their laughter mixed in the air, a wave of warmth enveloped Jamie. In that moment, she understood the effort hadn't been in vain. Hope was beginning to take root. What would this day bring? Would they truly embrace the connection she envisioned? And as the children's giggles painted the evening with joy, a new thought struck her. Would this gathering turn into something more than just an event? With her heart racing anew, she realized it was only the beginning. As the sun dipped lower in the sky, the shadows from the towering trees in the park stretched out like a gentle embrace. Jamie watched with a mix of pride and trepidation as the children continued to play, their giggles rolling like waves of joy. Parents gathered in small groups, exchanging stories and laughter, while Ethan's mother, Sarah, helped set up the food table. "Hey, Jamie," a voice called out, bringing her focus back to the present. It was one of the parents from down the street, Kelly. "This is amazing. I can't believe how many people actually showed up." "I know. I didn't think it would turn out like this," Jamie admitted, feeling the warmth of her smile grow brighter. In that moment, a flicker of doubt melted away. This gathering was more than just an event. It was a celebration of community. As the sun bathed everything in a golden glow, Jamie returned to the table where people filtered in and out. She poured lemonade into cups, her joy palpable as she comprised her thoughts. "Jamie, can you come over here for a second?" Sarah beckoned her with a wave and looked excited. Jamie hurried over, her heart racing with curiosity. "Ethan just told me he wants to try the games," Sarah said, her eyes twinkling with hope. "But he's feeling nervous about it." Jamie's heart fluttered. She recalled how important it was for Ethan, how he needed this moment to break free from his shell. "Let us show him we're all in this together," she replied, grabbing Sarah's arm affectionately to eye in the distance. Ethan stood shyly away from the crowd, glancing at the others who were already dunking each other in the balloon toss game. "Come on, let us ask him to join," Jamie said. They approached him, and with Sarah beside her, Jamie knelt down to Ethan's level. "Hey, buddy, the games are about to start, and I think you'd be a superstar at them. Want to join us?" Ethan bit his lip, his gaze darting from the game to the ground. For a moment, Jamie could almost see the weight of his fears folding him inwards. But then, she saw something flicker, a hint of curiosity. "Maybe," he murmured, still hesitant. "Let us do it together, all right?" Jamie encouraged with a warm smile. She held out her hand. "How about I go first? You just follow my lead." With a heartbeat that echoed in her ears, Jamie turned to the crowd. "Hey everyone, we're going to start the games now. Who's ready?" Cheers erupted from the assembled families, a wave of positive energy washing over Ethan as he watched them. Jamie turned back to Ethan, her hand still outstretched. With a deep breath that felt like an eternity of uncertainty, he took her hand. In that brief moment, Jamie felt as if they were both leaping into something that could change their lives. As they walked toward the game area, she felt a subtle shift in the atmosphere. The laughter grew louder, more welcoming. It felt like home. Once at the game area, Jamie gestured towards the games, choosing the water balloon toss as her first challenge. "Do you want to throw or catch? You pick." Ethan looked up at her, his eyes widening with a spark of excitement that made Jamie's heart race. "I'll catch," he declared, his voice a bit louder. "Perfect." Jamie turned to the gathered families. "All right, everyone, give our friend Ethan a big cheer." As the crowd erupted with claps and shouts of encouragement, Jamie witnessed a transformation. Ethan stood taller, his confidence blossoming, the weight of his fears lifting. Minutes passed into a blur of laughter and splashes. Jamie felt the air crackle with joy, and the connection between her and Ethan deepened. This was more than an event. This was a lifeline. But as the sun began to dip beneath the horizon, casting shadows once more, Jamie couldn't shake the question that lingered in her mind. Would this newfound hope flourish and grow beyond this day? Would their community come together again? With the light fading and excitement in the air, a voice behind her broke through her thoughts. It was Sarah, holding a plate of freshly made cookies. I think we might have started something special here, don't you? Yes, but what happens next? Jamie said softly, her heart racing at what was yet to unfold. Beneath the last golden rays of the sun, Jamie could feel the electric hum of laughter and energy swirling around her. Children squealed as they celebrated minor victories, couples chatted animatedly, and parents wiped away remnants of playful water balloon battles. The park was alive, vibrant with camaraderie, and for Jamie, every heartbeat echoed the importance of this moment. But deep down, a whisper of uncertainty nagged at her. Could this connection last? Here, Ethan, try this one, she called, tossing a water balloon his way. With a delighted squeal, he caught it, sending him into a fit of giggles that warmed Jamie's heart. Watching him, she felt a tear prick at her eye, a blend of joy and worry for the boy whose light was finally flickering bright. Go, Ethan, cheered Sarah, joining in the fun. Jamie noticed how Sarah's eyes sparkled, reflecting her pride in her son. Important steps were being taken, and Jamie could sense the shift, the gradual unveiling of Ethan's potential. As the games continued, parents paired off, talking about everything from summer plans to assessments of their children's progress at school. Jamie found herself snatching moments to chat with others, forming friendships she hadn't dared to before. Kelly approached with a plate of cookies. You've done an amazing job. I think this community event might be just what we needed, she said, sincerity in her tone. Thank you. I'm just glad everyone seems to be enjoying themselves, replied Jamie, her smile betraying her pride. But as the games transitioned into quieter activities, crafts, storytelling, and snack time, Jamie felt a shift in the atmosphere. The laughter waned, settling into soft conversation as families began to gather their things. A sense of finality loomed, and in that moment, Jamie's heart sank. What now? She whispered to herself, a wave of doubt crashing over her. The thought of the community dissolving into everyday routines frightened her. She yearned for this warmth to extend beyond the day's festivities. Jamie, Ethan's voice cut through the dimming light. He ran towards her, cheeks flushed with excitement. Can we do this again? Can we have more games? His eyes sparkled with genuine hope, and Jamie's heart swelled. Of course, she exclaimed, kneeling down to his level. We can have game days. Maybe a monthly park event. How does that sound? His face lit up, and Jamie realized just how important it was for Ethan to feel like this, a part of something. That feeling might just push his potential even further. Really? That would be awesome. I'll make sure everyone knows. Jamie grinned, her resolution tightening within her. This was a started turning point. Together, they walked back to Sarah, who was packing up with the other parents. Jamie's voice rang out as she shared her idea. With each cheer and nod of agreement, Jamie felt hope blossoming. Plans began to form as the sky turned violet and the first stars peeked through. A tinge of excitement replaced her earlier fear. But with the day winding down, a new question sprouted within her mind. Are we ready for the work it takes to keep this alive for Ethan and everyone? That thought would linger long into the night. But as she watched Ethan laugh and play among the others, she couldn't help but believe their journey had only just begun. The next chapter of their lives was on the horizon. But would they be able to keep the momentum going? Would they find the strength to nurture the connections they've begun to forge? The next day dawned bright and promising, the sun spilling warm light over the park in a way that filled Jamie with renewed energy. She woke early, unable to shake off the excitement from yesterday. Game days. She could almost feel the anticipation buzzing in the air. But with that excitement came a looming question. How would she pull off the idea? After a quick breakfast, Jamie sat at her kitchen table, a cup of coffee steaming beside her. She scribbled notes, ideas spilling onto the page faster than she could write. Community games, she muttered, careful to capture every thought. Weekly themes, make it engaging. Maybe even a little competition prizes? As she pieced together a plan, she imagined Ethan's face lighting up at the thought of more gatherings, games, and laughter. But each bubble of joy popped under the weight of reality. What if no one came? What if they didn't support her vision? With those thoughts trailing behind, Jamie pulled herself up and dressed, determined to gain momentum. She grabbed her phone and started texting some of the other parents. Hey everyone, I'm thinking about organizing regular game days in the park. What do you think? Her heart raced as she hit send, a small step towards a bigger dream. Moments later, her phone pinged. Sarah was the first to respond. That sounds amazing. Let us meet this week to discuss. The thrill of affirmation surged through her. After a few more encouraging replies, Jamie felt a flicker of confidence. This could really happen. Throughout the day, she busied herself with preparations, brainstorming activities, and thinking of ways to keep the kids engaged. That evening, she joined Ethan and Sarah for dinner. They laughed and talked, and Jamie shared her ideas about the park events. Ethan's excitement seemed to amplify her courage, and soon, she felt like she was on the right path. "Mom, when will it start?" Ethan asked, bouncing in his seat. "With your help, hopefully as soon as next week," Jamie replied, grinning. She could hardly wait, her heart now swelling with determination as the week unfolded. Jamie found herself on the phone more than she ever had before. She reached out to local businesses for donations and prizes. Bakeries donated treats while a nearby ice cream shop offered coupons. Jamie's heart soared with each gift. Each gesture of support from the community felt like another thread weaving them all together. But still, the fear of being overwhelmed nagged at her. What if she dropped the ball? What if her planning was all for nothing? Her mind was a whirlwind of excitement and doubt as the days raced forward. When the day of the first game event finally arrived, she felt a cocktail of nerves and hope bubbling in her stomach. With her home base set up beneath the big oak tree, she spread out colorful blankets and organized supplies. Tables lined with different games awaited eager hands. And then, one by one, families began to trickle into the park. Jamie fought the urge to lose her breath, her heart quickening at every familiar face. This was it. As the sound of laughter filled the air, Jamie locked eyes with Ethan, who was bouncing at the edge of the group, ready to dive into the festivities. It was then she realized her intentions had a chance to turn into reality. But would that joy last? Would this gathering truly make a difference for Ethan and all the kids involved? The moment was electric, but also fragile in that fragile excitement. What could it all mean for them? The sun climbed higher as laughter rippled across the park. Jamie stood at the heart of it all, savoring every fleeting moment. Children dashed between the tables, squeals of delight echoing in the fresh air. Parents mingled with one another, exchanging stories, smiles, and the occasional nervous glance at the games. "Okay, everyone," Jamie called out, raising her arms as if to lift the excitement higher. "Let us kick off our first game." Her voice trembled slightly, the anticipation dancing within her. This was it, her dream coming to life before her eyes. Ethan, practically buzzing with enthusiasm, jumped from one foot to the other. "What are we playing first, Mom?" His bright eyes sparked joy, and Jamie felt a rush of pride wash over her. "Let us start with the sack race," Jamie announced, grinning from ear to ear. The mere thought of Ethan participating sent her heart into a joyful spin. As she handed out burlap sacks, she explained the rules, her voice carrying through the field. The children giggled and squirmed, anticipation painting their faces with exhilaration. But then, a soft murmur caught her attention. Toward the back, a little girl stood alone, clutching a worn teddy bear, her sad eyes watching the festivities from the shadows. Jamie's heart sank. She remembered being that child once feeling left out, yearning for connection. With a determined step, she approached the girl, kneeling down to her level. "Hi there. I'm Jamie. Do you want to join in the fun?" The little girl looked away shyly, biting her lip. Jamie could sense the walls built around her heart, thick and hard to break. "Come on," Jamie continued, her voice warm and inviting. "Sack races are more fun with friends. If you join, I bet you'll win a prize." She pointed to the table filled with colorful goodie bags, balloons, and sparkly stickers. Slowly, the girl looked up, her eyes flickering with curiosity and a hint of hope. "Really?" she whispered, her voice barely above a breath. "Absolutely. Let us have some fun together." Jamie smiled brightly, seeing her own childhood reflection in the girl's hesitant expression. With a gentle hand, she took the girl's wrist and led her toward the other kids as they started. Jamie's heart swelled witnessing the once timid girl laugh and clash with the others in the race. Each jump in the sack seemed to feather away her insecurities, replacing them with joy and exhilaration. Soon enough, The laughter drowned out any lingering doubts that had plagued Jamie. Ethan cheered loudly, racing alongside friends, a true spirit of camaraderie ignited in the park. Jamie felt like she was in a dream, a flow of warmth and connection wrapping around her. For every child laughing, every parent smiling, and every moment of anxiety fading, was a testament to how this gathering was creating something real, something purposeful. Just as the fun reached a crescendo, Jamie noticed the little girl finally smiling, her laughter buoyant and free. And then, another wave of concern washed over her. Would this day mean anything once it was over? Would the friendships strengthen, or would everyone drift back to their lives as if this magic had never existed? In the midst of the laughter and joy, Jamie's heart raced with a mixture of hope and apprehension. Could she truly foster this bond beyond just today? She glanced at the little girl, who was now gleefully joining Ethan, a part of the team. But as the air hummed with happiness, Jamie couldn't help but wonder what would happen tomorrow when all the joy faded and the families went back to their routines. With so many questions swirling, the day was only just beginning, and Jamie knew she had to weave a path forward. Connecting these families was just the start, and she could feel her commitment deepening. What challenges lay ahead? How would she keep this momentum alive? As laughter echoed through the park, Jamie's eyes searched for the answers, one child at a time. The sack races came to a close, and the park was alive with cheers. Jamie grinned at the kids as they collapsed in a heap, giggling and out of breath, yet glowing with an energy only the joys of childhood could bring. As she moved through the crowd, clapping and praising their efforts, the little girl she had encouraged earlier caught her eye. Still laughing, the girl had formed a little group with Ethan and a few others, their camaraderie evident in the way they playfully nudged each other. Jamie felt an overwhelming sense of relief wash over her. It was happening. She was bridging the gap she feared would never close. But as the races concluded, Jamie noticed something. The parents, once animated with laughter and conversation, had begun to drift into small pockets of anxiety. Some whispered about schedules, others chuckled nervously about who would take home the prizes. The magic of the day seemed to teeter on the edge, ready to slip away into the mundane. "All right, everyone." Jamie raised her voice again, hoping to catch their attention. "How about we move on to some crafts? Let's create something together." The idea sparked excitement in the air, and the children erupted with joy. Craft tables were set up just beneath the great oak tree, each one adorned with colorful supplies. As the children gathered around, Jamie pulled out paper, glitter, and markers, inviting them to express their feelings through art. She couldn't ignore the flickering worries in her chest. Crafts wouldn't just be a fun activity. They were an opportunity to deepen connections. The little girl, still wearing her dazzling smile, hesitated again, glancing at the supplies. Jamie knelt beside her once more. "Do you want to make something special? We can create friendship bracelets." The girl seemed to brighten, her fingers touching the ribbons and beads as if they were treasures waiting to be unveiled. "What if I make one for my new friends?" she asked. The innocence in her voice tugged at Jamie's heart, revealing a truth she hadn't fully grasped yet. "Yes, that is a wonderful idea," Jamie replied, feeling an unexpected thrill. "You can give them to whoever you want. It's like a little piece of your heart for them to keep." As the little girl began weaving beads onto her string, Jamie noticed Ethan nearby, already crafting a bracelet for her. He was completely focused, his little brow furrowed in concentration. In that moment, Jamie felt a rush of hope. If the children could exchange tokens of friendship, perhaps their bonds would grow beyond this park, stretching like colorful strings across their lives. But amidst the bright joy of creativity, Jamie had another pressing thought. Would this connection be fleeting? It was one thing to feel the electric excitement of today, but could they carry this energy forward? She glanced around, noticing parents talking to one another, still hesitant yet curious. Perhaps it was time for her to step in again, to create a space not just for the children, but for the adults too. "Hey everyone," Jamie called out, her hands raised once more, this time with excitement. "Why don't we hold a parent-child team challenge next? Let us create something together." Some parents exchanged glances, uncertain but intrigued. Jamie felt the tide beginning to turn as they lit up with interest. She smiled, her hopes climbing higher. Yet deep down, a familiar worry whispered in her mind. They were still just moments away from returning to their relentless routines. Would they grasp the opportunity to connect here, to truly bond? Jamie took a breath, feeling the transformation around her, wondering if this day would truly echo in their lives. With laughter, smiles, and a hint of tension coloring the air, she waited to see if they would take the leap. Would this moment of connection be enough to spark a change that would last beyond the park? She hoped with all her heart that it would. As the laughter began to blend with the buzz of new connections, a part of her whispered, what if tomorrow was just another chance to start anew? The excitement swirled in the air like confetti as Jamie watched parents' expressions shift from hesitance to curiosity. She felt the pulse of possibility thrumming through the crowd. A few parents exchanged smiles, while others started nudging each other, nodding enthusiastically at the thought of working side by side with their kids. "All right, let us get started," Jamie announced, her voice warm and inviting. "We have all sorts of supplies here. Paint, clay, glitter, use your imagination. But let us create something that represents your family or your bond with your child." The children squealed with delight, flooding to their parents' sides. Jamie glanced sideways at the little girl who had been so eager earlier. She was now completely engrossed in conversation, her hands animated as she encouraged her dad to help her design a clay sculpture. It was an image Jamie would hold on to, a snapshot of connection, one that whispered of hope. As the crafting buzz grew, Jamie walked amongst the tables, offering help here and there. She noticed parents who exchanged skeptical glances, those who seemed hesitant to fully dive into the chaos of creativity. She wondered what fears lurked beneath their uncertain faces. Were they worried about getting messy? About the judgment of others? Then she spotted Ethan. He was standing there, paint on his cheek, oblivious to his surroundings. He was engaged in friendly rivalry with his mom, each trying to outdo the other on a foam board creation that somehow morphed into a colorful, albeit abstract, representation of their family. "Hey, Ethan," Jamie called to him. "You guys are doing an amazing job. What is your inspiration for this masterpiece?" Ethan's eyes lit up. "We're pretty much just mixing every color we can find. It's how we roll. That's the spirit." Jamie laughed, watching the easy banter between him and his mom. Their laughter rippled through the air, drawing in a few others who had been timid at first. A few tables over, Jamie spotted the little girl again. She was trying to tie her friendship bracelets onto her dad's wrists, a determined frown on her face. Jamie felt her heart swell. It reminded her of the everyday moments, the simple gestures that added up to a meaningful connection. "Need a hand?" Jamie asked, kneeling down beside the girl and her dad. "Yes," the girl beamed. "I want him to wear it." She handed Jamie the bracelet, its bright colors shimmering with promise. As Jamie expertly tied it onto the dad's wrist, she caught a glimpse of the father's face. There was pride there, his eyes sparkled like a child's on Christmas morning. "Look at that. You did an amazing job." Jamie cheered, nudging the girl gently. "Your dad is going to treasure this." The father chuckled, his gaze shifting between Jamie and his daughter. "This means the world to me. Thank you for organizing this. It's made today feel special." Feeling elated, Jamie caught her breath for a moment. If only every child and parent could experience days like this, moments that built bridges rather than walls. But just as hope fluttered in her chest, a realization struck hard. What would happen when they left? Would those shining moments dim, lost in the rush of everyday life? A hush fell around them as she looked around at the crafting chaos. Their laughter and chatter would fade like summer weather. Jamie's heart twisted at the thought. Determined, she decided right then that she would do everything in her power to keep this connection alive. "Hey everyone," she called, her voice ringing with both urgency and warmth. "How about a tradition to kick off our next family meetup? We can plan to create something new each time." Parents leaned in, intrigued, while kids cheered. Jamie could feel the spark ignite, the promise of something greater forming. She held on to that feeling tightly, knowing they were all on the cusp of something beautiful. But as she glanced at the sunset painting the sky, Jamie understood challenges lay ahead. Would they continue to come together? Would this attract more families wanting to forge connections? The questions hung in the air, just like the vibrant colors of the craft supplies shimmering beneath the fading sun. Uncertainty bubbled, but Jamie was ready to face it. She had seen the magic of connection unfold in real time and knew deep down that today was just the beginning. What if, by By nurturing these relationships, something transformative bloomed. The next few months flew by with an ease that surprised Jamie. The picnic turned into a tradition, a regular gathering of laughter, games, and connection. Jamie watched in awe as the families transformed from mere neighbors to a tight-knit community, vulnerable yet resilient. Ethan blossomed, his laughter louder than before, his confidence radiating like the sun. One crisp afternoon, under the vibrant hues of autumn leaves, Jamie stood at the park's center, feeling the warmth of a growing bond surrounding her. Parents paired off in conversation, kids darted back and forth, their shrieks of joy filling the air. Refreshing aromas from the barbecue mingled with the sweet scent of fresh apple cider. It felt like family. Her heart swelled with pride. "Mom, come here." Ethan's excited voice broke through her reverie. He stood confidently amidst a group of children, each throwing a plush toy across a makeshift target made of cardboard and paint. "Look, I'm going to show them how to do it." Ethan grinned, his cheeks flushed with determination. Jamie smiled, a rush of emotion swelling within her. This was the boy who had once lost himself in shadows, and now here he was shining. As the games progressed, Sarah joined her side, her face glowing with pride too. "I can't believe how far Ethan has come. Thank you, Jamie, for everything you've done. Honestly, it's been all of us. We've built this together," Jamie replied, a wave of warmth sweeping over her. "I'm so grateful to see our families coming together. This wouldn't have happened without you all." The celebration hummed along, but Jamie's heart grew heavy again at the whisper of doubt. What would happen when winter came? Would the cold drive their gathering indoors? Would families start drifting apart again? "Hey, Jamie," called Kelly, one of the parents, as she approached them. "I had an idea. How about a holiday gathering? Something cozy to keep the spirit going?" Jamie's heart danced at the thought. "Yes, a winter celebration. We could do crafts, hot cocoa, everything festive." "I'll help," Sarah chimed in, and soon a small group gathered, brainstorming ideas. A renewed energy buzzed in the air, weaving hope through the fabric of their community. As days turned into weeks, plans unfolded gracefully. Jamie and the team organized the winter gathering, and slowly, excitement rippled through families as they spread the word. This reunion felt magical, a promise that warmth and connection would thrive even in the colder months. Finally, the day of the holiday celebration arrived, the air crisp and clear. Jamie arrived early, her heart racing with anticipation. Twinkling lights decorated the park, and tables laid with colorful cloths were filled to the brim with delicious treats. Families trickled in, chattering excitedly, their faces bright with joy. "Can you believe it? Look at everyone." Ethan gushed as he pulled Jamie's hand and led her to the gathering. The moments spilled like snowflakes dancing in the air. Laughter melded with cheer, and Jamie stood back, watching the kids rally together. She could see the friendships deepening, the shyness fading away with each shared experience. As the night deepened, Jamie took a moment to step back and gaze at her surroundings. Parents baked with their kids, children painted holiday signs, and families donned handmade decorations. There was a spirit of unity in each shared laugh, in every hug exchanged. In that moment, she knew their connections would outlast any storms brewing outside. Suddenly, the group gathered around for the grand finale, an impromptu talent show. Children clapped their hands in excitement, their eyes sparkling with determination as they stepped into the spotlight. One by one, they shared poems, songs, and silly dances. Each presentation was met with uproarious applause and cheers, each moment weaving a tighter bond between them all. As Ethan took the stage, a palpable hush descended. The boy who once struggled to find his voice stood strong and confident. His words rang clear, full of dreams and aspirations, each sentence echoing with the heart of the community surrounding him. "Thank you all for being my friends. You made me brave." Tears filled Jamie's eyes. That little boy was an embodiment of transformation, and his triumph felt like a personal victory for her, for Sarah, for all of them. After the show, as the glow of string lights illuminated the park and the chatter filled the chilly night, Jamie felt a sense of peace within her heart. The connection they had fostered was rich and vibrant, growing life beyond the park. In that blissful moment, she knew in her heart, Their journey had evolved from a simple act of kindness into an ever-growing family that would weather any storm together. As she turned to leave, hand in hand with Cody, she felt a deep gratitude swell inside her. She had once feared stepping into someone else's struggles, only to find it had led her into her own story. A story filled with love, connection, and endless possibilities. The celebration faded into the night, but Jamie's heart brimmed with hope. She was ready for whatever came next, and she knew they would all face it together. Now is the time to show your support. You need to subscribe to the channel immediately to not miss the next exclusive stories that will fill your heart. Leave a like now because your support feeds the algorithm and helps us grow. We want your thoughts. Comment below with your reactions and feelings about this ending. And for those who need a boost in their lives, share this video instantly with at least 5 friends. Don't wait, not even one more second, to spread the love. Only true fans understand the importance of supporting this channel through these actions.